How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is Deck Ready, my channel all about the Steam Deck. We're going to go through the Steam Deck news today because there's a lot of great stuff to cover. We're going to start out with one that I've experienced recently, which is it's time for Valve to drop United Radio as their RMA sort of provider, because I had an issue with them, and then I was scrolling through Reddit and I was scrolling through Google News looking for topics, and I saw the insane prices that they're charging for basic repairs over there, and it's getting ridiculous. Then we're going to talk about how multiplayer is heading in the right direction on Steam Deck, and finally I've got a recommendation for you guys as usual. So yeah, let's jump into this first story here because it's pretty interesting. So you guys know I have the limited edition Steam Deck OLED, and if you don't have one of those, the see-through clear one, not the white one, the original version of the limited edition models, if you don't know, they have an issue with those devices where they over tighten the orange screws on the back, and because translucent plastic is less rigid than regular old plastic that's opaque, you get stress cracks. And if you have the limited edition OLED, maybe don't check because the chances that you have this issue are high. I would have never noticed the stress cracks on mine unless I saw a Reddit thread about it where someone said that they were getting stress cracks on the bottom shell of their Steam Deck from the screws being over tightened. And then I saw so many comments and I was like, I mean, I got the Steam Deck channel, I should at least check. And not only did I have stress cracks on the bottom shell from the screws, but the fan vent on top of my Steam Deck limited edition OLED had cracks forming on it too, which is bad. I've actually had to RMA a Steam Deck before. It was my first LCD. The bumper broke because the bumpers are notoriously my wife dropped it 6 inches and that was enough to completely break the right bumper. So I sent it in for RMA and it just took forever. Like it took 2 days to get to United Radio. I thought it was like, oh, it's going to be turned around very quickly. It's an easy fix. Just swap out the bumper. The only reason I didn't do it is because it required soldering, but I'm just assuming they just replaced the controller board that the bumper switch is connected to. Then they'll send it to me. Sat there for like a month. I don't know what the hell they were doing. I waited every day for a call from them. They called me. They told me that they found other issues with it, which is ridiculous because it was a brand new device. I never even opened that one because it was the one that I got for pre-order, like the one I use my Steam account to pre-order. It had a big enough SSD. I had no reason to open it. So whatever they saw that was broken on the inside, if anything was broken, wasn't done by me. I researched United Radio. I saw they do all the repairs for Nintendo Switches, and I saw that they just have a terrible reputation. Like people were sending in limited edition Switch Joy-Cons and not getting them back. Then United Radio was like, oh, we don't know. So clearly the people were just stealing them because they were rare. There's like so many nightmare stories for both the Switch and the Steam Deck when it comes to repairs through these guys that like, I don't even need to justify my criticism of them. They are legitimately not great. But I did just get that refurbished Steam Deck OLED, so I figured now would be a good time to actually get this limited edition one fixed because that's my favorite device ever and I want to keep it in good shape. So when I get it back, I'll just like loosen the screws. And I've also heard that people, when they send these in, they get them replaced like completely. Even if it's like a minor issue, like with a bumper or something like that, they have enough of the limited editions extra, I guess, to send them out, and people have found that those ones don't crack as much. So maybe they did a second batch or something. I knew I was out of warranty, so I expected to pay for it. Like I'm over a year out of warranty, so that's completely fine. I put in a support ticket on Steam. I heard back immediately because Steam's responses are usually great, and they were like, it's going to cost at least $125 to get that back shell replaced. And I was like, excuse me? Like I get it. It's out of warranty. I'm not going to criticize them for charging for that because, you know, whatever, it's out of warranty. I could have done it within the past year, but because I have a Steam Deck channel, I didn't want to be without my Steam Deck for over a month like I was last time. So I let it go. I found myself in a situation where I could be without it and I waited too long. So that's on me. But like $127 to replace the back of the Steam Deck, like you can go on eBay or Amazon right now and get replacement back plates that have aluminum heat transfer sheets for like $15. So I don't know what the hell they're coming up with that number from, but it is absolutely insane. But I still want the Steam Deck OLED fixed. I have literally no other option to get an official back for this limited edition OLED. So I was like, you know what? I'll just pay it. It's fine. I ship it off last week on like Monday. It gets there on Tuesday or Wednesday. They still haven't called me. It's over a week later. I still haven't heard anything back and I don't know what the hell is going on. I got an update from Valve that said the repair partner has the actual Steam Deck and they're going to look at it. When? It's not that difficult, guys. You're replacing the back of the thing. Like, I don't understand why we're being so lax about this. But today, when I was looking for news stories, I saw a guy in a very similar situation. Of course, his Steam Deck bumper is mushy because, you know, it happens to a lot of people's Steam Decks because the little button they have in there gets bent back and then it's not fully activated. Like, it clicks, but it's farther back than the little button that's being pressed when you push the bumper. So it feels mushy. And he was told by Valve, because it's out of warranty and it wasn't an issue that was caused during shipping, he'd have to pay over $100 to get that little button fixed. And that just feels absolutely ridiculous to charge that much for such a minor repair. And I got to assume it's not actually Valve responding on the Steam support pages. Like, there was a completely different cadence. I've actually RMA'd twice. The first time they just completely replaced the Steam Deck. The way the person talked to me the first time was like someone on Discord. Like, they're like, hey man, yeah, the thing's broken. That's fine. It's under warranty. We'll just swap that out. No big deal. Like, that's literally how they were talking. And then the responses you get when United Radio takes over are like, this is out of warranty, so you will have to pay a fee of X or Y. Please let us know if that's okay. We will give you a shipping label and a box and you could send it in. It's just totally corporate speak. So I'm assuming United Radio is kind of taking over the whole support thing, which makes sense because they're the ones doing the repairs. They can log everything in their system. They're just not a good partner for this stuff. There's plenty of horror stories out there that's totally verifiable. There's got to be someone else Valve can go with. I get that they can't afford, I guess, to replace every Steam Deck that breaks, but you know, that's a good way to get refurbished models back in stock because they're never in stock. But like, this is just highway robbery at this point, and it's not fun. So my big point of this story is, at the time when my bumper broke, you couldn't order the actual little whole module for the actual Steam Deck, but now you can on iFixit. There's way more Steam Deck parts. If something like that breaks where you don't have to take apart the entire thing to actually get to that part, which is the case for the bumper, you have to undo a few wires, but like nothing crazy. All you have to do is take the back off, disconnect the battery, and then unscrew a couple of screws and pop out the module. Take a glance at iFixit, because if you're already out of warranty, you're not going to void the warranty, right? Like, they'll still probably do repairs at the end of the day if you critically break it. And they're clearly charging a flat rate no matter what the repair is, because I got the same quote for my broken back. That wasn't my fault. It was a manufacturer issue, as a guy who got a mushy bumper, which is a manufacturer issue. The bumpers are notoriously bad, and I hope they address that on the Steam Deck too. But yeah, it's just like, it's annoying. So yeah, if your Steam Deck's under warranty, get it replaced while it's under warranty if anything's wrong with it, because they'll probably just give you a new one and that'll extend the life of the thing overall. If you have the limited edition translucent one, I guess don't check for the stress cracks, because you're going to be out over $100 if you actually send this in to get replaced. And yeah, if you can fix it yourself, it might be worth fixing it yourself, so you don't have to pay over $100. You can just pay for the cost of the parts, and iFixit ships pretty damn quick. But yeah, that brings me to the second news story here, which is multiplayer is surprisingly getting better on the Steam Deck. So one of the games I'm really excited for that's coming up this summer, I think June 17th, is FBC Firebreak, which is Federal Bureau of Control Firebreak. And it's basically like Remedy's take on what looks like Left 4 Dead or Helldivers 2 or any of these kind of extraction shooters that have come up over the past decade or so. It's a first-person shooter set in the world of Control. I'm sold immediately. I mean, I saw the first big boss in the game is like post-it notes that make a giant monster, and they're doing everything right. It's going to be on PS Plus day one. It's going to be on Xbox Game Pass day one. The actual buy-in price is only $50. They're going through a lot of work to make sure it's optimized, and during their big gameplay reveal stream that they did over the weekend, in their big reveal stream of gameplay over the weekend where they talked about this game and how it all works, they were asked about the Steam Deck, and they said it's very important for them to have it verified at launch, which, you know, that's in one ear out the other for me. Verification is totally meaningless. I mean, look at Oblivion, and now Expedition 33 is playable, and I guess it is, but like, it's such a subpar experience that I wouldn't call it playable. But you know, the verification system, shocker, is meaningless. But then they continued on saying that they are working to optimize it at launch for Steam Deck, and it's very important to them, and that's good because this is a strictly multiplayer game. I'm sure you can play in a solo lobby, but it's very clearly built to be played with a 4-player squad, and it seems like something that would be a lot of fun on the Steam Deck. Like, it's Control, which is one of the best looking games I've played in the past 10 years or so, but it's definitely got a cell shaded style art style over everything, and it looks like it's going to be pretty easy to run and be well optimized, which is great because it is a first person shooter. And because they're optimizing it for the Steam Deck, that means they're definitely not going with an anti-cheat solution that's going to stop people from accessing it on Linux. And with Linux growing more and more every day, that means desktop Linux players are supported as well. I know the Steam Deck is kind of looked at as the little engine that could, but like it's bigger than a lot of people give it credit for because the audience is so dedicated. So if this game isn't on your wish list already, I would add it. It sucks that there's no way to kind of link your PSN to your Steam account to get your PS Plus add-ons, or like link Game Pass or whatever to your Steam account to get your Game Pass add-ons. But like, I like supporting Remedy. I know they've had a tough time lately making profitability on Alan Wake 2 to repay Epic for publishing it, which sucks. They had to incur a big cost making it Epic exclusive to get them to publish it, which is the only way it was going to get made in the first place. So I'm going to be there day one. I'm glad this is coming out on Steam and it's not a game that's being published by Epic. And it's great that more multiplayer games are launching not only with deck support, but with optimization in mind for the deck. Like, this game looks awesome and it could be a lot of fun to sink some hours into. It kind of reminds me of like the Steam Deck's answer to Splatoon or something like that. It looks like just a ton of fun. But speaking of games that are fun to play on the Steam Deck, let's talk about V Rising. This will probably be the last time I talk about it for a while because I'm just going to start playing it. But the 1.1 Invaders of Oakvale update is out now. If you're into Castlevania and survival games and crafting games, this is the game for you. You get to build a vampire castle and kill a bunch of villagers, and it has action RPG style combat with a full skill tree and great weapons and everything like that. And you can make your guy look like Alucard if you pick up the Castlevania DLC, and you get a castle pack too where you can make your castle look like Castlevania, which is awesome. The big drawback with the big update that just came out is that because it changes the map and the combat so much, you have to basically start a new save. Like, you can't carry forward your survival world that you've already created. But I do like that they went the extra mile here, and under the betas list under properties, you can change the version of your game to the old version, so like 1.0 or whatever, and then you'll be able to play with your old save. And then if you want to start a new save, you can just go back to the public version, which will update it to 1.1, and then you can start Invaders of Oakvale. I ended up giving out a few more keys over the weekend. I'm completely tapped right now. This is a great game on the Steam Deck. If you set it to medium without upscaling, it runs at a lock 30 throughout the entire game. Like, I was expecting the frame rate to drop once I started building my castle super big in this game, and I made it massive. I had multiple hearts and everything like that, and it just got absolutely huge. I never saw the frame rate drop below 30 once the entire time I was playing. I'm sure you can push the settings to high, but on the smaller screen, it looks absolutely great at medium settings, and it's got a cell shaded look to it that kind of goes a long way in making sure it looks good. So it's also 50% off right now if you want to check it out. I might do some key giveaways in the future. I've been trying to talk to Stunlock Studios and let them know that I've been doing this, and to see if I could get some more keys for you guys. But in the meantime, again, it's 50% off. It's called V Rising. It's one of my favorite games on the Steam Deck. I know there's no shortage of things to play, but I just love this game and I love shouting it out here on the channel. So yeah, new updates out now. It works great. I highly recommend it. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you in this one. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and shape on.